Hello everybody and welcome to the show. Hello everybody, George here, but in the guise of Pixar Cars Maurice Wilkes. And yeah, I hope you're well. The reason why I'm here today in this guise is because I'd like to talk to you today about my love for the Pixar Cars and Planes franchises. The first Cars film absolutely rocked my world. It was my life. I thought about it pretty much every day, every night for several years after it came out. I loved the Cars franchise that much when I was 9 that I wanted to try and copy the characters' designs as much as possible. So I used to draw them all the time. And these are some of the very first drawings that I did. I designed them basically as bookmarks, but we cut them out and my dad laminated them. So obviously there's Lightning, you got Mater there. I did several of some of the different characters. There's sort of a face-on one of Sally, and there's one of Sally and McQueen together. You got Doc Hudson, Sheriff, Luigi, Flo, Ramon, and also there's two of Sarge as well. In 2006, in the summer, when we were down in Sandbanks in Dorset on a holiday, my parents saw some of the drawings that I was doing of some of the Cars characters and said, George, do you know what? Why don't you create your own characters based on the Cars? So that's exactly what I did. And in here, I created a little series of comic strips called Banger and Bomber. So yeah, there's Banger. He's like a little battered old rally mini. And there's his flatmate, Bomber, who is a Series 3 Land Rover. He's an RAF trainer. And so yeah, it just started off, you know, just a silly little thing. And they were proper comic strips. It would take me a couple of days to finish one, really. And, you know, just quite comical. And I did it really because I was disappointed that the Cars franchise at the time didn't have any British vehicles in it, so I thought, why not do one about a Mini and a Land Rover? Like all shows, it had background characters, but then I started adding in more main characters, and yeah, it just grew from there. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a whole video dedicated to this, because it's a whole other rabbit warren that we could go down. I had most of the Diecast cars from the first film, and I loved it that much that I even built a little shrine to it in the corner of my bedroom. I had a talking Lightning McQueen money box. I had some of the big Rip Racer toys. I had a big Mac playset that folded out. I even had Mega Bloks Cars sets, and when Cars 2 came out, I had a few Lego Cars sets as well. So yeah, it's been a big part of my life. I've shown off a few Pixar cars that I've bought on this channel, but I don't think I've ever shown my entire collection. And they're in here. As of now, this is my Pixar cars collection. Before last year, this box was overflowing. Obviously, I had to get rid of quite a few things in the past, but everything that you see in here is everything that's prevailed or stuff that I've bought recently. These three guys that you see here, original Rusty's McQueen, Red and Stanley, were the very first Pixar Cars toys that I ever bought. My parents were bringing me home from my third operation in hospital in Oxford, and we stopped at Toys R Us on the way back, and for some reason these guys were the ones that took my fancy first off. And of course, like with any collecting hobby, what's the point of only buying one or two when you might as well get the whole set? So over time, I either bought myself or friends and family bought me pretty much the entire set. This is the rest of the Radiator Springs gang. I also got all 4 of the street racers. I did have quite a few of the Piston Cup racers, but these 3, the King, Chick Hicks, and I can never remember his name, so I'm just going to call him Leakless. They are my favourites, so they're the ones that have prevailed. I of course had Mia and Tia in several different guises, and I did have a couple of the old heyday Radiator Springs cars, but out of the 3 that I had, Erwin Cranks or Edwin Cranks was my favourite. So he's stayed. I mentioned that family used to buy me Pixar Cars toys, and my aunt especially, because at the time she was cabin crew for British Airways. She used to do long haul over to America, and of course, being the hub of Disney, they had a lot of models that we over here in the UK didn't used to get. So these are some of the models that she managed to get over there for me. I mentioned earlier that obviously because Cars 1 was set in the US, there wasn't any British vehicles in it, but because Cars 2 was partly set in the UK and also had a lot of British spies in it, one of my favourite groups of my diecast collection is the British vehicles. And apart from Miles' Axelrod, so far as I'm aware, all these other vehicles are actually based off real production vehicles. Obviously there were a lot of celebrities in the voice cast of the Cars and Planes films, but to my knowledge there were only a few cars that were actually based off the people that they were voiced by, and I've got a couple of those here. For example, this one on the far left, this is Mario Andretti, and I believe he's based off a Pontiac GTO, I think, but yeah, obviously famous racing driver Mario Andretti. In the middle, this is Michael Schumacher, and he is based off a Ferrari F430. And one of my personal favourites, this is David Hobbs' based off the famous British F1 driver David Hobbs. Another one of the things that I love about him, he's a Jaguar E-Type. I just love that. I mean, obviously, being a Jaguar fan myself, and you know, he's a Series 1 E-Type. I mean, look at him. Interestingly enough, one of our family friends is actually good friends with David Hobbs himself. I'd love to meet him one day. And even though I don't think he ever had a speaking role in it, so he's not voiced by anybody famous to my knowledge, but this guy himself could be classed as a celebrity. This is Todd, and he is the personification of the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story. Now, he's got the little rocket on his roof and he's all battered, but even though he wasn't voiced by anybody famous to my knowledge himself, the Pizza Planet truck itself is a celebrity in its own right, really. Now, I mentioned earlier that before the end of last year I decided to get rid of a load of my Pixar Cars toys, just because I thought, well, you know, why do I need them? I might as well get some money for them. And I'm kind of regretting that now because there were some ones that I thought, you know, I'll just get rid of you. And now I'm thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't got rid of you now. So I've gone on to eBay, and I've not bought all of them back, obviously, because that would be a fool's errand. I've just gone back and bought certain ones that I really like. And also, whilst I'm there, I've gone onto eBay and found some ones that I've wanted for a very long time. Anyway, that's for another video, but I wanted to do this video as a precursor to that big haul that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video about me going through my fascination with the Cars and Planes franchises. And if you did like it and you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment if you fancy, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But if you understand this, then you're mad. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And the singing is also quite bad.